What's good, party people? This is Voodoo in the Woods. I'm According to Woods, and he is former U of MMA champion Pius Lobo, better known as Voodoo Maximus. And
What's up, champ?
not much. We got UFC Blaydes versus Daukus, or as I like to say, or as I kind of find out, because this is emanating from none other than Columbus, Ohio. Which
Mhm.
you want to know some stats about Columbus, Ohio? That shit is the capital of Ohio. That means all the politicians be doing shit about Ohio stuff. Shout out to my dude, fucking guy who sings cities and states on YouTube. That was the fucking song that I used to boast about the this damn card. And man, holy hell, that it was the greatest thing. Mario Yamasaki's for him. Let them fight. Let them fight. But Voodoo, how you been, bro?
Just hanging, man. Just hanging. Trying to make things right. Trying to make this cool, smooth. Uh, Trying to get it right before I get it wrong. Like Masvidal got it wrong this week. Uh, Connor can afford to get it wrong with a speeding ticket that landed him in jail. He'll be out. You know what I mean? But he can afford it. But the other guy, man, I guess we'll get into that later.
No, 100%. Which that makes so much sense to me because I've been in my head all this week and everything like that. I saw the fucking Colby Covington Masvidal shit. I think both of them are fucking idiots. Yeah. So I could not give a shit either way. Like oh my god, dude. I saw something like, well, Colby's known for blah, 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 and he might be an asshole when he's playing, but there's no right for Masvidal to fucking sucker punch him and whatever the fuck. And then also I heard like, oh, well, Masvidal had fucking 25 minutes to fucking punch the shit out of Colby, but couldn't, right? And both of them were right. It was just fuck them, fuck them, both of them, man. I don't want to see it. You're like, oh, are they angling for another fight? I don't care. I really don't care. Yeah, man. So I'm just saying. What you got to say about it, Voodoo?
Man,
Y-
the one that said they're both right, like you said, but one is more right than the other. You did have 25 minutes to go in there and rip his heart out like you claimed you were gonna do. You claim George Masvidal. You claim that you were gonna do this to him. You're gonna do that to him. He said this about your whatever, and he said that, and you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that, and then you didn't do it. As a matter of fact, he beat your ass. You know, he beat your ass. Plain and simple. Kobe Covington, the shit talker, whooped your ass for 25 minutes. Live with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think what is it? Nelly and Tim McGraw. They said something about over and over again, right? Well, it's all in my head. I think about it over and over again. That must have been Masvidal's fucking ass after fucking Kobe beat the shit out of him, and they was friends too. I don't. I don't.
You know what his deal was?
What?
You know what his deal was? He talked all that head. He promised all these things that he was gonna do, and it turned out to be all talk. Actually, Kobe went in there and embarrassed him.
Yep.
He embarrassed.
Absolutely.
See, Dustin Poirier knows his place. Dustin's like, it's on site. It's on site. I'm not gonna let him make money off of me. You know what that means? It means what he did to Jorge is gonna do to Dustin Poirier as well. He'll do the same to Dustin Poirier, maybe even worse. That's why Dustin is not thinking about getting in there with him. See, Dustin had already admitted defeat. It's that plain and simple. We both know that anyone has a puncher's chance when they go in there. He's not even counting on his own ability to be able to knock out Kobe Covington. He just automatically gave up. And he said, oh, it's going to be on site. It's going to be on site like a dumbass. I, I, I I just don't understand these people, man. Look, just because you're famous or you're rich doesn't mean you have what it takes. And Khabib. You guys, everybody. I am with Gamebred. I am with Mazda. I am with Mazda. Everybody, welterweight division. Don't fight him. Don't, shut your ass up, you dumb illiterate. Shut your ass up. Shut your dumb ass up, you stupid dummy. Khabib, if you weren't fighting, what the hell would you be doing? If you weren't fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov, what would you be doing? Exactly. Absolutely nothing. Probably herding sheep. So shut your ass up. Your opinion does not matter. If you want to fight, come back. Otherwise, shut your ass up.
That's yeah. I mean, and Tiki Pal says, "Hey guys, how are you? I'm here. What's not up?
Yeah,
Well, we're up. We're definitely up
yeah.
for sure,
We're definitely up. All the way up.
all the way up." And
Yeah.
Alex Ramirez, the good brother, goes, "You think we're all witnessing the beginning of the rise and fall of Masvidal? I would assume that he raised in the fucking first place, man." Like that motherfucker needed yeast, right? And that yeast was the Diaz brother. That Diaz was the fucking. I mean, that yeast was Leon Edwards. You know that yeast was fucking Colby and whoever the fuck. And you add Colby to the mix. Give me another reason not to give a shit about Colby, Masvidal, and fucking Covington. They all fuck them all. Like great fighter. I'm not saying that they're not good fighters, great fighter, capable, whatever. But are they stars? No. I don't want to hear out of any of their mouths about fucking money. Like both of Masvidal and fucking whatever.
Colby.
Masvidal, yeah, and
Covington.
Colby. I fucking can't even remember the name. I watch a lot of MMA. I can't even remember the name. But you fucking doesn't even matter. There's fucking Usman beats the shit out of all of them twice, twice. Like they are the Triple H, right? I remember an argument, right? Because one people were talking about the greatness of Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and what have you, right? And somebody said he was the guy who worked with the guy who made a lot of money. He was the guy that worked with the guy that was a superstar, right? So by de facto, most people perceive them as a superstar. That's all three of them asses. That's Colby, that's Dustin, that's Masvidal, right?
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
they worked with Connor. I mean, in fucking Dustin's case, and then Masvidal at their dancing partners. But again, they fall to fucking Usman. This is not hyperbole. They fucking ran
Mm-hmm.
that shit, right? And again, for Masvidal to fucking donkey punch fucking Colby, knock his tooth out. And again, don't like Kobe, but I'm just saying, you had 25 minutes to get it done and whatever, and you fucking did it and you saw. And I mean, like, how did you know that fucking Colby was going to be at that nightclub and blah, 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 and whatever the fuck. And I think it was Gabe, shout out to Gabe Rudinger, who was like, yeah, but you're a fighter, dude. Like, you're going to call the cops, like, on another fighter? Like, what the fuck?
Of course. Why not? Why
Okay,
not?
wait.
I get paid to fight. I get
Did
paid to fight. I don't fight for free. I'm a professional. I don't fight for free. You touch me outside the ring, I'll sue your ass too. Would I will sue your ass.
I guess this motherfucker's been talking to Vince's lawyer Jerry McDivitt and sued the fuck over everybody. Jesus Christ. No, man. Fuck it. No. I mean, good.
If you have a problem, let's solve it in the case so we can get paid for it. You know what I'm saying? I can respect that. Even Khabib. Back to you, dumbass Khabib. Khabib, he had 25 minutes. Oh, before the fight. I break his face. I change his face. I break his face. I smash his face and I break his face. Conor looked better coming outside of that fight than he did going in. He looked better. You promised to smash his face. and you couldn't wait to submit him. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? He talked about the towel over your wife's face. He talked about your dad. He talked about all these, and then you couldn't wait to submit him. You talked all this talk. You had 25 minutes. If that was me, and I have the skills of Khabib, I would have beat the hell out of Conor until the referee pulled me off at the 25, and 5 seconds later. I wouldn't have stopped. I would have just kept beating him even after the bell. After the 25-minute bell rang, I would have kept beating him. That's what you're supposed to do. Not that street stuff. And then he want to support that street nonsense. That's stupid. We're not getting paid for that. We're not getting paid for that. It's about that money, man. Money comes first. The money comes first. The bullshit comes later.
Yeah, I know you say that, right? But fuck, those stupid motherfuckers in Colby and Masvidal, they fucking they need refunds. If it's all about money, fuck, we all needed a refund. Everybody that paid for that stupid ass fucking main card, dude. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that we weren't great fights or whatever, but to pay fucking $80 for fucking Masvidal and Usman, I mean Masvidal and fucking Colby,
Kobe.
yeah, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey,
UFC.
Kobe did his part. Kobe did his part. He whooped some ass.
Yeah,
Masvidal didn't show up.
yeah. Just Usman waiting in the wings, fucking ready to tear them limb from limb. You know, fucking give them bad knees and shit. You know, just like he got. You know, and Tequila says, "I'm all the way up." You know this Voodoo and Woods, yeah, 100%. And oh my god, your laugh. Okay, I see you, Voodoo, 100%. No, 100%. But speaking of things to be seen, right? We have UFC Columbus, right? It ain't Cleveland, because Columbus is apparently the capital city of Ohio. So they want to fucking go to Ohio. That's what we're gonna do after a fucking 2 years and a half of fucking Vegas or whatever the hell. We're like, you know what market we're running? Columbus, Ohio. Like that's what we're doing. So cool. Fuck yeah, man.
Let's
So
go.
we got an amazing card. And are you guys watching 1X tomorrow night? It looks like a really interesting fight, especially Mighty Mouse in Super Rules. No, I'm definitely gonna check that out. Along with there's a lot of MMA, right? There's LFA here at Commerce. There's some good fights everywhere. But yeah,
Is,
no,
is that fight gonna be tomorrow night or like in 3 hours?
uh, but crack of dawn is what I'm thinking.
Before the sun come up.
Yeah. Mhm. What is it? The
I'm
Smash
cool.
Box? Yeah,
I'll catch that one later.
yeah. What does the Smash Mouth say when the morning comes? Oh, tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Oh,
Oh,
fuck yeah.
good. That's
I'm
even
in.
better.
I'm in.
Friday night, I'm in for that one.
Yeah, and I'm in. Get
Definitely.
caught LFA beforehand because usually LFA stops about 10 or whatever.
Hey,
And
hey,
then,
hey. Tommy Aaron on that LFA card, baby. Ozzy Diaz on that LFA card, baby. Pouncey on that LFA
yeah,
card, baby. Let's
yeah.
go.
And then
I'm watching
headline
that one.
by Javier Garcia of CSW against Chase Gibson of CMMA. Holy
There you
fucking
go.
shit. Jesus
There you
Christ.
go. I forgot about those dudes.
Yeah. Ooh,
Let's go.
ooh, man. That's a
What a
good card.
card.
Yeah.
What a
So
card.
yeah, we're watching it all. We're watching it all. But yes, the UFC Fight Night, Blaydes versus Daukus. Get started off in the featherweight division. Speaking of CMMA, we have CMMA's Bruno Souza, 10-2 against Luis Saldana, and Souza, you know, has ever since he left the LFA kind of market, uh, it's wild because he actually beat Javier Garcia, who's headlining LFA tomorrow night, right, against Chase Gibson, right?
Yeah.
But he lost to another LA notable in Melsik Bagdasarian, which
Yeah,
was
that kid is a monster though. That Melsick kid,
yeah, dude. He's a
he's a
good
monster.
fucking guy too.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
remember he toyed with him first. This
Mhm.
this this Melsick kid, he toyed with him. and then he just went for the kill.
No, he's not one to mess with, right? So that makes that look of him and Sosa just all that. I mean, not, I mean, yeah, him and Salsa, they mixed up and whatever. It was actually Melsick who took the win, right?
Mhm.
So Bruno
Mhm.
Sosa, after a hot LFA run, he ends up losing his UFC debut, right, to Melsick,
Mhm.
another LA
Mhm.
notable. But
Mhm.
here we go, a chance at victory within the octagon against Luis Saldana. Now Saldana, uh, 15-7, very tenured, right? He
Mhm.
basically KO'd Vince Murdoch. I remember seeing that one on Dana White's Contender Series back in
Mhm.
2020.
Mhm.
Beat Jordan Griffin by decision, right? Carl Woodstock at LFA 60. He rear naked chokes him, and
Mhm.
he put Ramiro Hernandez. He put him in retirement at
Mhm.
the Fight Series back in 2018, right?
Mhm.
So there's some. This is a good fight. This is a very evenly matched fight.
Mhm.
Um, what say you? Because like for me, I almost feel like Saldana has an advantage.
Yes.
He's more of the complete fighter, and I'm not.
Mhm.
And again, don't get it twisted. I love CMMA. Chad George, Josh Barnett's down there. Both of their teams, UWF, USA, CMMA. But
Mhm.
it just I I can't think of a worse like run, right? That what's his face? Bruno Sosa's getting.
Mhm.
Uh other than like maybe Tyrion Flash Ware, right? Because
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
here's why I say it, right? Tyrion very early on faces a young Sean O'Malley who the
Mhm.
UFC saw a lot about the Sugar Show, right? And it was
Mhm.
actually
Mhm.
when he says, "Oh, this is a Sugar Show," that was against Tyrion Ware, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
there you go, right? And then Melsick, but Melsick is a fucking rising star in his own right, right? So I feel like that pathway that Tyrion had is very much similar to one that Bruno Sosa is currently in. That's just
Mhm.
me. It just feels
Mhm.
really fucking similar. I
Mhm.
could be wrong, but I I, I think I got Saldana on this one.
Yeah, me too, man. I got Saldana on this one too. He's more of the complete fighter, and his style favors the kind of things he does. The kind of things that I like to see, with the movement and the snapping strikes with the hands and the feet. So, and he's got some good enough jujitsu to submit and keep the fight on the feet. So I'm going with Luis Saldana as well, man, on this one.
Yeah, and I think I think Bruno Sosa, yes, he trains at CMMA,
Mhm.
but he's a product of the Machitas, right?
Mhm.
Both
Mhm.
Chinzo and Lyoto. So
Mhm. Mhm.
he's got that karate style, and
Mhm.
that has been effective, especially in both Shinzo and Lyoto. Right, led
Mhm.
Lyoto to a light heavyweight championship, UFC championship. But
Mhm.
this is different, man. Saldana is just a complete fighter. He can go the
Mhm.
distance. He can, KO you with a spectacular KO, TKO. It's just relentless submissions. He's just got it all together. Um, and again, for a guy 15-7, right, and pretty
Mhm.
new to the UFC audience, I think we need to see him go on a little bit of a run so he can get some of those wins and like highlight moments where he can bolster himself into like maybe the top 15.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. I totally agree. 100%.
100%. And
Mhm.
yep, okay, says Takia Pal, 100%. So yeah, so that's a unanimous pick here for us here. Luis Saldana. Do you have a way that he gets it done, or is it?
It's gonna be a tough match. If he doesn't knock him out, then he's gonna have to just endure and win by points. I don't see him submitting his opponent at all.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have to be either straight up knockout or just outpointing him.
Yeah, I actually see like maybe a split decision because Sosa, if I remember correctly, and that lineage of the Machidas serves right. I almost feel
Mhm.
like it's going to be hard to manage that fucking distance, right, for Saldana. But
Mhm.
he'll figure out a way. But it'll that distance is going to prevent Sosa from maybe getting knocked out.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
he's definitely going to pepper him with a lot of fucking shots, and you
Mhm.
might see Bruno's face not look the same, you know, going in as it comes out. So that's what I say. So I say a split decision is fair. That's what I'm
I'm
thinking.
with you. I'm with
Yeah,
you.
100%. I appreciate it, especially with somebody who literally trains MMA every day of his life, and not just MMA, but just martial arts every day is for of his life for so long. I appreciate that. Um,
Okay.
Now, one thing that we could appreciate in the flyweight division, we have the 20-3 uh, Undertaker David Dvorak, right?
Mhm.
He's 20-3, and we're gonna get back to him. Uh, and he's going up against the Brazilian Mateus Nicolau, right? Who's 17-2-1. We're going with Mateus, right? Mateus had a fucking tough fight with Tim Elliott. I remember that shit.
Mhm.
Unanimous decision win still.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
Manal Kape, right? Gets a split
Mhm.
decision win over here. And so he's 2-0 in terms of the UFC. But even before he joins the UFC, and this is actually his second run with the promotion because um so obviously the Cop and Elliott fights in this run of the UFC. Then over in Brave, he beats Felipe Efrain, right, at Brave Combat Federation 25.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Future FC 5 gets a guard stroke over Alan Gabriel. But then his last run with the UFC was a loss to Dustin Ortiz. It was his last time in the Octagon back in 2018. A win over Luis, the Last Samurai Smoka. And that is
Mhm.
fucking notable as shit because we know, well, I mean, Smoka himself is on a second run with the UFC. We've seen how
Mhm.
tough Luis Smoka is. So holy fuck, right? John Moraga, that's another tough one. So I mean, he's holy shit, man, and he obviously he's a alumnus of the Ultimate Fighter Brazil season 4. So man, Mateus has a wealth of experience coming into the octagon. Now we go on the other side and David Dvorak, right? Now you calling yourself the fucking Undertaker. We are the road to WrestleMania, sir. And you better put motherfuckers to sleep. You better be fucking tombstoning people. You better knock the motherfucker out and roll your eyes back in the head. You gotta come out to the fucking gongs and shit, dude. Like I'm almost offended that this dude thinks he can and I'm not the huge, I'm not the biggest Undertaker fan, but by God, dude, I'm gonna fucking by God, son, what the fuck? If you're gonna wear the fucking, I'm gonna cut a promo on this. That's fuck it. If you're gonna fucking wear the fucking moniker of the Undertaker, you need to be doing some Undertaker shit, right? Undertaker wouldn't fucking stand for fucking what is it, 20-3, an impressive record. But Undertaker's been undefeated at WrestleMania for fucking eons until Brock Lesnar came into the wing. He is on
Mhm.
a, but one thing that is phenomenal that is akin to one phenom, the Undertaker, is he's on a 16 fight win streak, right? 16 fight win streak, which is
Yep.
fucking impressive. Um, Beats Jordan Espinosa via unanimous decision. Juan Camilo Ronderos
Mhm.
beats by rear naked choke. Jesus Christ, So he's 3-0 in the octagon, and then he still got 13 wins outside of the octagon, which is pretty fucking
Yep.
cool. As much as shit as I talked about him wearing the Undertaker moniker, I actually got David for this one.
Me too. Me too, man. Me too. Because he's a smasher. He's either gonna knock you out on the feet or he's gonna ground and pound you until you turn your back and then he takes your neck. That's how he does his business. He's a destroyer. I am also going for David Dvorak.
Yeah, but David, I'm gonna learn you up real quick. You better come out to
Mhm.
some gongs, you motherfucker.
Mhm.
One of your coaches have to do a call bear. Oh yes, my David Dvorak. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And how? I mean, obviously, you adopted the moniker before this fight in particular,
Mhm.
right? So, who would have thunk you would be on a UFC card on international TV on the road to WrestleMania? Literally, you're fighting the week, a day to the week of, or before WrestleMania Night 1 in
Mhm.
2020. So, Jesus Christ, man. Hell, and shout out to Rafa Sparza. He's got WWE BJJ week. So we're in the midst of that too. So
Mhm.
you better do some slick shit, dude. If you knock
Mhm.
somebody out, cross your fucking arms over and do that deal with the fucking, that's what I'm just saying, dude. Fucking, oh, yeah, you need to do that shit. As anything less would be uncivilized, like that fucking
That's
racist
right.
asshole with a fucking
Hulk
weird ass
Hogan.
swallow. Yeah, with the right guard. I'm
Right
just
guard
saying.
sports picks.
Yeah, man.
Anything else will be uncivilized.
Yeah, but just telling your son we're gonna live like N words. Fuck the whole hell off, brother. I'm just saying. Um, so yeah, David Dvorak. There you go. And this is almost unprecedented. We've got two unanimous picks right off the bat, which I don't know how that's going to work out going into this one. But we have the 19-8-1 Brazilian Jennifer Maia going up against Manon Firo. And Manon, holy fuck, man. 8-1, right? So she obviously doesn't have the experience that Jennifer Maya has, but she is the beast. Like Derek Lewis, like Dan the Beast Severn. This name and this moniker really fits Manon Firo. And how do we know? Shit, you see her fucking KO over Tabitha Ricci, or even the
Mhm.
Maya Bueno Silva fight, which
Mhm.
yes, it went to decision, but unanimous decision where Manon was just all over Bueno
Mhm.
Silva, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Victoria Leandro. That was a standing KO, second round. She was just
Mhm.
all over it, and
Mhm.
even does that, even pre UFC, does that shit, United Arab Emirates Warriors 14 or UAE Warriors 13 and 14, KO, 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 12 EFC, over in Africa, right? EFC, the
Mhm.
the biggest promotion in Africa, the continent of Africa, and she fucking lays waste to so many fucking gals, right? Amanda Lino and Melanie uh
Mhm.
Guegas. That's what I'm going with.
Mhm.
But so that a lot of tough competition, and they've all fallen waste to the beast Manon Firo. But
Mhm.
we cannot gloss over the pedigree that is Jennifer Maya. Jennifer Maya has looked pretty damn stunning in her UFC tenure, right?
Mhm.
Although she did have two losses that are kind of like in question. That one against the blonde fighter Caitlin Chikugian, which was her last fight, but then she beat Jessica I, sending Jessica I believe to Bellator, right? And then obviously she has the fight with Valentina Shevchenko for the UFC title, and Shevchenko just beats the shit out of her. It was a one-sided ass kicking. Uh, Beat Joanne Wood, the formerly Joanne Calderwood,
Yes.
by armbar. Uh,
Yes.
she has two losses to the blonde fighter Caitlin Chikugian. That's wild. That's wild to me. But anywho, I'm going with the fucking beast, man. Manon Ferro. There we go.
Yeah.
KO third round.
Yeah. So the only way Jennifer Meyer can win this one is by catching some kind of lucky submission. Otherwise, Manon is gonna go in there, smish, and walk out with a pocket full of cash. High level finish. That's what I see here. High level performance of the night type finish. That's what's gonna happen.
I couldn't agree with you more. Especially we're off of the nine. nine $50,000 performance bonuses that were doled out
Mhm.
in London. You don't
Mhm.
think that Manon wants to take that shit back to France, right?
Mhm.
She wants to, especially France in the last year or so has opened up to MMA where they hadn't for their whole country's history. So yeah, she's already a legend, to a large extent, to not just MMA, but specifically women's MMA. So Jesus Christ,
Mhm.
this is good. So shout out to Manon. I say third round KO.
Hey, I'm not mad at it, and it's good to have her in the mix, right? If she wins this, she goes to number 5 in the flyweight division. Now we can get some interesting matchups with the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Tippy top of the
Mhm.
division, and hopefully she'll be afforded the same opportunity that Maya had. But then
Mhm.
again, you got the Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko as a champion, so that's not a tough. That's not an easy task to take. But I mean, if you're gonna get it, man, Manon versus Valentina, Bullet versus the Beast, sign me up. Oh, that
Let's
that
go.
feels right. That feels so right.
Let's go.
So speaking of let's go, man, we have alias Cobb.
Alex Bar. Alex Cobb.
Yes,
Alex
yes.
Cobb.
Say it one more time.
Alex Cobb.
Yep. And again, 4 9 pronunciation classes by video for one easy payment of $9.99.99 or 4 easy payments of
Kiss
$4.99.99. You can pronounce that name that Voodoo just spoke.
Alias
Like the
Cobb Kiss
Yeah. Yeah. I heard scribble knots. That's what I got. Jesus Christ. But yes, there you go. So the Venmo is on his Instagram bio. Just send it away. He'll learn you. He'll learn you. But on the other side of the bracket, we have what Denny's fucking hell. Go for it, Voodoo.
Two Liu Lin.
Yeah. Right
Two
on.
Liu Lin.
Yeah, isn't that the place in Mexico that has the fucking coconut
Yeah.
weights and shit? Right, right.
Two Liu Lin.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. But let's look at these gents, right? Both Russian. Dennis is a 10-5, right? This is actually his UFC debut, right?
Mhm.
After an impressive run in, I mean, literally all of those Eastern European, Middle East promotions, UAE Warriors, Brave FC, Leon Warriors, Fitz M1, you know, just all over that Eastern European slash Middle East region, man. He's been here, so rightfully he takes his rightful place in the octagon. But he's facing his fellow Russian and a fellow Russian that is in fact 13-0. That
Mhm.
is the Black Wolf, right? Now let's
Mhm.
look at Black Wolf, right? Has gone to some of the same paths as his counterpart, right? But one thing that is notable is back at Fight Night Global 85, he KOs the shit out of Usman Paul Harris. You remember Paul Harris, who
Yes.
used to heel hook and just keep that some bitch in, right?
Mhm.
Right? Yoke as fuck. So there you go. So that yeah, you know what? I do remember this because I
Mhm.
somebody said I think it might have been Jesse Velasquez who was like, "Oh, fucking Paul Harris got knocked the fuck out." And I was like, "Word? Really?"
Fine.
Yep. Yeah, that was this one. Oh, then I'm glad to see the Black Wolf in the
Mhm.
octagon, man. And we should
Mhm.
throw money in the octagon like the Mexicans do the luchadors, right? A good match,
Mhm.
you throw money in the ring, right? Well, I think we should throw money in the octagon just for the sheer fact that he knocked the fuck out of Paul Harris. So I'm just saying. Heel hooks ain't fun, and especially if they keep him on when you give up. Good God, that's not cool. But
Not at all.
yeah, I'm gonna go with the Black Wolf.
Yeah, me too, man. Alias Cobb is gonna go ahead. Kishriev is gonna go ahead. and initiate contact with this fighting. Once he gets his opponent Dennis ready and flowing with the strikes, he's gonna shoot that takedown, and then he's gonna keep shooting that takedown until he gets that submission on the ground. I see him smashing or submitting. Either way, this fight ends on the ground. He will stop him.
And I mean, for two Russian fighters, with everything that's going on, that's kind of what you expect. That's kind of what you expect. So I'm not mad at it, but
Not at all.
it's the Black Wolf I've got. That's a rough go for DNS, right? To make his UFC debut against
Yep.
this gent, but sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles, as old Bruce would say in Bruce Almighty, right? Now,
Yep.
now, I think I'm gonna go with this. Yeah, I'm gonna lead with this. Speaking of cookies and crumbling, two
Mm.
people that probably haven't had their share of cookies during the 6 week camp, presumably, is Chris Gutierrez and uh, Dana
Mm.
Grigel. Now,
Mhm.
El Guapo Chris Gutierrez is 17-3-2, right?
Mhm.
Um, has wins over Felipe Colares as well as Andre Yule, right? Both of those were a decision. The Colares one was a split decision. Andre Yule, unanimous decision. Went to a draw with Cody Durden, right? Who was making waves just last week.
Mhm.
Wins over leg kick. Yes. Yeah, I remember El Guapo that fucking the leg kicks against
Mhm.
Vince Morales, man. He fucking
Mhm.
ate Morales' fucking legs all the fuck up, right? Um, damn, that's right on. Okay, and obviously he is a he fought on the Ultimate Fighter 28 finale, losing to Ronnie Bracelos, right, via rear naked
Mhm.
choke, right?
Mhm.
And but crazy enough, here's another one. Actually, another two. Um, Gutierrez actually has a win over Mara Israel at LFA 22, right?
Mhm.
That was actually headlined by Ian Heinisch, which is wild to think about because Heinisch is now in the UFC. But that was like many moons ago. But also
Mhm.
has a win over former LFA flyweight champion Jimmy the Brick Flick. You remember Jimmy the Brick Flick? He hit
Yes.
some of the craziest submissions ever and was like, you know what? I've been training for fucking 10 plus years on this thing, right? And it ain't worth what I felt it was gonna be. So I'm walking away, from all
Mm.
the troubles of my life. Shout out to Jimmy the Brick Flick.
Yeah.
Who's thriving out there in Oklahoma. It started like a dispensary and all that jazz. So shout out to the Brick Jimmy Flick. Um,
That's right.
Now on the other side we have Dana Brat Rigel or Bat
Mhm.
Rigel Dana. Um, but the Storm is 12-2, right? 12-2. Wins. I mean, a KO win over Brandon Davis. I remember that. That counter left hook against Kevin Natividad. Definitely remember that.
Yeah.
That was what essentially put Donna
On the
on the map
map.
for the both of us, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and then a left hook to Guido Canetti, right?
Mhm.
On the undercard of the Israel Adesanya Yoel Romero
Mhm.
fight
Mhm.
back in 2020. Jesus
Mhm.
Christ, man. And it wasn't that long ago, man. 2020. Yoel Romero was fighting for the title, and now he's in Bellator. So just strange how things work. This one is really, again, evenly matched. So shout out to the matchmakers of Sean Shelby and oh god, fuck, I forgot the other gentleman's name. It's not
Mhm.
Sean Wheelock. That's the commentator, the former Bellator
Right.
Sean. But the other gent who match makes for the UFC. Shout out to you too. Um,
Mhm.
who you got, Voodoo? A
Hey,
little.
either way, I believe in the boxing of Bazgirin. I think he's gonna go in there, expect the leg kicks and counter it. He's gonna time it with the overhand right or overhand left, whichever one. He's gonna time it really well, stun him, and then go in for the kill. That's what I see. Chris Gutierrez is a very good fighter. I would say he's a complete fighter, but I think he's gonna get caught. I think he's gonna get caught. I think because he's a good fighter, that's gonna be that's going to be the chink in his armor that's gonna cost him the fight. I truly see it happening that way. He's gonna get caught right on the chin, and he's gonna drop. Once he drops, Dana is gonna go in for the kill. He's gonna maul him with strikes, and he's gonna finish it no later than the third round, if not the second.
Yeah, second round feels right to me. I'm doing the same way. And again, this is not a knock on Gutierrez at all. But Gutierrez at times has been a little bit overzealous, in terms of his offense versus his defense. We've seen that. And yes, he's had quite a bit of success, like kicks and all,
Mm,
but he does leave himself susceptible to
yeah,
some what? Yeah,
Winklejohn. They've been studying that, and a dude like Dana, he'll eat that stuff up and go execute.
yeah, no, 100%. And being from a nation, a different nation, I believe Dana originally is from. I don't want to say it's Indonesia. I don't want to. Mongolia. Oh yeah, right.
Hmm.
So he's
Hmm.
fighting for a completely different deal. No matter how bad it gets in the U.S., it's still the U.S. Man. Like Mongolia, holy hell, And you're like, oh, I want to be a fighter, dude. We're talking about like lineage and descendants from Genghis Khan. Like holy fuck, man. Like that's some tough people. So, yeah, Donna probably second round KO is what I got too. I agree with you 100%, Voodoo. Hell yes. So, man, we're breezing right through this, man. But I'm really interested to see how this one goes, right? This could be an exciting fight or with slams. Like, not so much KO power, but slams in jujitsu. Um, versus or it could just be a boring fight where, nobody really engages. But we have Kara Hosa 15-3 against Sarah McMahon. Sarah McMahon, obviously a former UFC bantamweight championship contender. In the days of Ronda Rousey, she was one of the many who fell prey to one Ronda Rousey. Um, that was that was that fucking knee to the body.
Hmm.
That Ronda. Yeah, that was. Ooh, it was rough. It was really rough, right? But she's an Invicta veteran. She's one of the most tenured fighters on the UFC roster, right?
Hmm.
As well
Hmm.
as um, I don't want to say well-rounded, but she's definitely one of the most tenured, one of the most experienced fighters in the UFC roster, male or female. It just so happens she is a female, right?
Hmm.
But she was essentially the eliminator fight for Juliana Pena to eventually end up fighting
For the
Amanda
title.
Nunes.
Hmm.
Right, exactly. That was the so even still, I mean, when we look back at her fight with Ronda Rousey, that was Jesus Christ, 2014, right?
Hmm.
That was in there and lost to Misha Tate, lost to Amanda Nunes before she became champion, right? But there
Hmm.
you go.
Hmm.
That right there, she's lost to three world champions, right? In Tate, Nunes, and Rousey. Actually, when you follow it, right? Because that's a little cool thing to tic tac toe with, right? Because uh Rousey beats Tate, and then Tate beats Holly Holm, who beat Ronda
Hmm.
Rousey, right?
Hmm.
And then Tate falls to Amanda Nunes. So
Hmm.
that's a little tight kind of cohesion that they have there in the UFC bantamweight women's bantamweight history. All right,
Hmm.
so there we go. Now on the other hand, right, because we don't want to make it the Sarah McMahon show, but I I mean Lena Landsberg, right? Had she actually grappled at Kazushi Sakuraba's quintet, and
Hmm.
yeah, so that's kind of cool to see. But she lost to Marion Renault, Ketlin Vieira, both by submission. But she beat Gina Mazzini via arm triangle choke, right? And then she
Hmm.
also beat Alexis Davis by arm triangle choke. So, but no knockouts for Sarah McMahon. Now, Kira Hosa, on the other hand, 15-3, right? I mean, this is her fight to win. I feel right
Mm-hmm.
because wins over Laura Procopio, right? That was her UFC debut. Beat Vanessa Mello via unanimous decision. Beat Jocelyn Edwards via unanimous decision. Beat Betch Correa via unanimous decision. So she's 4-0 in the UFC, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this is where I
Mm-hmm.
say it could be the most crazy slam fest match that you can get, especially when you look at the pedigree of one Sarah McMahon, right? But then Kira Hosa, not to say that she isn't a good fighter, a capable fighter, but she just, she. I'm not saying that she fights for points, but you could make an argument that that is her and her team's strategy, especially what we've seen, right? Dominant still, but still, just peppering enough shots to make the judges kind of vote your way, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
either we're gonna see Carol Hosa dumped on her neck by Sarah McMahon, or we're just gonna see Carol Hosa basically point her way to a unanimous decision. So damn, I don't even know how I'm gonna go. But that's the way I see it.
Sarah McMahon is very limited. She's a phenomenal wrestler. Not much submission game there. Um, Not much strike in there, but she's predominantly a wrestler. On the other hand, the opponent is a quite decent striker, decent jujitsu, okay wrestling. She loses in the wrestling, but she gains in what she loses in wrestling. She gains in jujitsu, and when it's on the feet, Carol Rosa has the advantage. I'm gonna have to go with Carol Rosa, man, to take that number one spot. Sarah McMahon, I think she's just trying to fight out a contract. She's not trying to go for any run. I don't feel there's a desire there, even though she is a silver medalist in the Olympic. I don't feel there's a desire there to be great anymore in MMA. She just wants that paycheck, go home, and be happy with her kids. That's what I see. Carl Rosa, on the other hand, still has time. Still has time. Hasn't seen the top of the mountain yet. Sarah McMahon has seen the podium. She hasn't. Rosa. So the edge goes to Rosa, and I'll give her a split decision win. I don't see her stopping McMahon though.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Yeah. So, Kira Hosa split decision. That feels right. That feels right. 100%. But I just kind of, in my head, everything that we're saying about Sarah McMahon and everything that Sarah McMahon has proven to us,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if this could potentially be one of her last fights in the
Could
UFC
be.
or in MMA,
Mm-hmm.
you might as well take some hapless foe into Suplex City. I'm just saying.
Ooh, why not? Why not? Let's go.
Yeah. So there you go.
Go make it
Uh,
happen.
yeah. So I mean, Sarah McMahon, if you're listening here, please just take her for one last ride. One last ride is what I'm asking. And that is all. That is all. So yeah, Kira Hosa for the split decision win. That's a unanimous pick. Now we got the 170 division, and this one I think is a sleeper fight. I think this could potentially be a fight of the night. We've got Max Payne Griffin, 18-8, going up against Neil Magny,
Mm-hmm.
25-8. Now let's go with Payne because I mean
Mm-hmm.
Neil Magny, the Haitian sensation. I mean he has a pedigree and a lineage that just he's earned the right. But
Mm-hmm.
let's go look at Payne, right?
Mm-hmm.
Max Payne Griffin, a notable standout, beat Carlos Condit, former UFC interim champion, Kenan Song, KOs him, Ramiz Baramaj. Oh yeah, if I can elbows him and the ear explodes, remember that, right? That was soon after the viral one of Johnny
Yep.
Campbell, and
Yep.
not too long after that happens to Ramiz in the UFC, right? But
Mm-hmm.
Payne has lost to Thiago Alves, right? Via split decision, lost to Curtis Melander, but then beat Mike Perry. right? So thank you for beating Mike Berry. Um, because somebody has to. Good God, that's
Mm,
another one. Um, uh, win over Eric Montano, right? KO's Montano, but lost to Colby Covington. Why are you losing to Colby Covington? I'm not saying he's a great
mm,
fighter, but that's not the fight that I'd want to lose. Good God, but it's not as bad as Damian Maya, I would say, right? So
mm,
that's Max Payne Griffin. Chitty Bang Nukujani. It's got some wins, got some really good, respectable wins, right? Um, Lost to fucking Justin Baseman. And Justin Baseman, man, that dude is still fighting, which is wild to think about how many fights that guy's had. But on the other hand, right, we have Neil Magny, the Haitian sensation, 25-8 for Magny. This guy has been, top tier level fighter, or top shelf fighter for almost the entirety of his UFC career, right?
mhm,
Um, has wins over, KO's Hector Lombard. Who the fuck was doing that in 2016, right? A split decision over Kevin Gastelum. Uh, Split decision over Eric Silva, right? Rodrigo de Lima, KO's Rodrigo, right? Um, Goes to a unanimous decision over Tim Dirty Bird Means, right? Like,
mhm,
this dude has been in the UFC, right? Since the Ultimate Fighter season 16, which is many moons ago. We're talking like 10 years ago,
mhm,
and Magny is still here, still at the top of the heap, right? Most recently, he's beat uh, well, obviously, Carlos Condit uh, lost to Santanigo Ponzabibio, right? But then beats Robbie Lawler last year, lost to Michael Chiesa, but beats Jeff Neal via unanimous decision. And when he wasn't fighting the UFC, he was like, I'm going to take a fucking grappling match. So he goes to Fury Pro Grappling 3. And unfortunately, he loses to Joaquin Silva, but he's still fucking grappling, right? And that's almost Magny's bread and butter. And it's weird to say that grappling is Neil Magny's bread and butter. Obviously, a jiu-jitsu black belt, but he's got some fucking KO. He's got power in his hands, and such
mhm,
a just a stylistically difficult fighter to face if you're his opposition. He's
mhm,
he's not overly tall, right? I don't think he's at 6 foot, or maybe he's 6 foot, but he's just lanky. He's just lanky.
mhm.
He almost reminds me of a grasshopper, you
Six
know?
three.
Yeah, okay, so he is tall and lanky. Yeah,
Mhm,
but he just reminds me of fucking yeah, grasshopper. His reach, and
mhm.
it's difficult for opponents to kind of get in there and get some work started, man. So, man, all with all due respect to Max Payne Griffin, man, Neil Magny has found a way to win in more high level fights at this stage of both of their careers. I'm going with Magny.
I'm also going with Magny because he's got a gas tank for you and me and him. So
Yeah, and the entire human race.
yeah, Magny, and the experience. I'm going with Magny. Max is just gonna have to knock him out cold, man. That's it. He's gonna have to knock him out cold, and that's it. I just don't see him doing that. Magny is too disciplined. He's got too much of a gas tank. If Magny doesn't submit him, Magny wins by unanimous decision.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And again, you you talked about his gas tank. He's already training and has long since been training at the Elevation Fight Team in Colorado. One, right, and then the Elevation Fight Team. That's one of the most preeminent gyms in all of MMA. So that's there you go. So top level competition, top level training, Magny all the way. And I agree. It's a fucking either second round KO or it goes to decision, or it could be even a second round submission. But second round finish, if not that, then it goes to decision. I'm with it. I'm totally with it. So as we kind of advance in the card, we have Mark Dacase going up against Viash Vyacheslav
Mm, mm,
Borishev, which sounds like a fucking a 1980s heel if there ever was one, right? Ivan
Yeah.
Koloff and Vyacheslav Borishev, right?
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying. But Borishev coming in, he is Slava Klaus because just in case you were weirded out by a fucking jolly guy going through your fucking chimney, right, and leaving presents, but you got to offer him a cookie and milk. If that wasn't frightening for you, right? Well, this dude is calling himself Slava Claus, which is
Yeah.
of Slavic descent and Claus. So I'm just saying, and that's even weird too because in that region, I think it's Father Christmas. So the fact
Yeah.
that he,
Yeah.
like, he really is like, oh, I'm going to fucking enter the American market and just scare the shit out of him. Uh, but he is training at Team Alpha Male, right? He just KO'd Dakota Bush with that liver shot. Remember
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
in January of this year, a KO
Mhm.
over Chris Duncan with a left hook, second round left hook. Back at Titan FC, he beats Kentley St. Louis. Jesus Christ, man. Is I mean, he has tough fights. He has tough fights, man. Like um, that's it's crazy, and he's training at Team Alpha Male, has which has always, since the days of Uriah Faber, been excellence. I mean, just exuding excellence in those lower weight classes from 135 on, 125 on. So shout out to Team Alpha Male, but we have the Englishman Mark DeCasse now. In, you know English is where England is where he resides, but the Bone
Right.
Crusher is from the Democratic Republic of Congo, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, he's fighting out of American Top Team. He's actually on a two-fight losing streak. That being against Rafael Alves. That was first
Mhm.
round guillotine choke. Then
Mhm.
Rafael Fiziev beats him via unanimous decision, but he has wins over Lando Venado and Joe Duffy. So there you go.
Mhm.
But prior to that Duffy fight, he was on a three in a row skid against Nasrat Hapcross, unanimous
Mhm.
decision. Lost Dan Hangman Hooker when Dan Hangman Hooker wasn't as punch drunk as he is now,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And I say that with all due respect to Dan Hooker, but shit, him along with God of Moicano, Dan
Mhm.
Hooker and Hanato Moicano were like the biggest what ifs that ended up becoming never was.
Mm.
Jesus Christ, that's it's sad to think about. My goodness.
Mm.
Um, and a loss to Drakkar Klose via unanimous split decision on the Ultimate Fighter 25 finale back in 2017. I actually
Mhm.
remember that because that was the night before. No, 27. Never mind. I'm fucking it up. Anywho, um, you know what? This is the Russian. This is this is Vyacheslav Borshev's
Mhm.
fight to win.
Mhm.
You've got a tenured fighter who's got a lot of fight mileage on him, right?
Mhm.
Who's on a two-fight winning streak,
Mhm.
won two, but then was on a three-fight losing streak before that. Yeah,
Mhm.
this one is Slava Claus, man, and I almost feel Dikase gets knocked out.
Hmm. I'll flip your coin there.
Okay,
I'll flip your coin there. I'll go Decase, and I say it goes the distance. Uh, Decase is not the type to take you down, and he might initiate that in this particular matchup just because it's not expected, and he needs to win. So he might want to be as complete as possible. But Borshev, no submission wins, all stoppages or unanimous decision. So he prefers to stand up. Mark DeCasses also prefers to stand up, but I think he's got the capability to shoot and steal points and pick up the win that way by split decision.
okay, I like it, and not to say
We'll
that
see.
not to say that I want that. I'm very much a fan of Dikase. Like I've
Mhm.
maybe on my UFC 3 or 4 video game, I've
Mhm.
might have
Mhm.
won a world title with Mark
Hmm.
Ducasse, so I'm a fan. But yeah, a pick is a pick, right? Uh,
Yeah,
s- yeah, so
they're
they're
both pretty good.
oh yeah, 100%. Again, fabulous matchmaking,
Hmm.
and this is the fight that we need to happen in both of their careers, right?
That's
Uh,
right.
Borshev needs a name, right? And Ducasse needs a win.
Needs to
So
win. Hmm.
yeah, this is perfect stakes, man. Oh fuck! Talk about steaks, right? We got a lot of meat here because we got Sweden's Ilir Latifi against Russia's Alexei Olenek. Old man
Hmm.
Olenek. Man, every time I see Olenek in the fucking cage and octagon, I'm so glad. I'm just so glad that somebody when you look at Olenek, when you look at like a Josh Barnett, when you look at
Hmm.
a lot of Overeem, right? These are legends that you're going to see, that you get to see still in 2022, right?
Hmm.
That once they're gone, and there's going to be
Yep.
a irreparable hole that cannot be filled, right?
Hmm.
um when they decide to hang up the gloves, right? Because these are guys that have fought on like one night, 8-man tournaments. These are guys who have, you know, been in grappling competitions in like seedy gyms and smokers and everything like that. There's a very big lineage that gets lost when any of these gentlemen, whether it be Overeem, Olnick, uh, Arlovsky, will put in there, Barnett. When they
Hmm.
decide to hang it up, man, it's a sad day for MMA. But it's not a sad day because we're going to get to see Olnick fight, and he fights none other than the sledgehammer Ilir Latifi. I've been
Hmm.
a fan of Latifi ever since he was I believe he was like a light heavyweight, right? He was on a lower card, and then he just decided, hey, I'm gonna fucking just bulk up and whatever. He was always a big guy, a big guy for the division, right? And then he just goes to heavyweight. But I mean, who could forget his standing guillotine choke over OSP Ovincent Peru,
Hmm.
right? He gets KO'd by Volkan Ozdemir and loses a unanimous decision uh loss to none other than the Black Beast Derek Lewis, right?
Hmm.
Loses to Corey Anderson, right? But after all of that, right? 3-fight losing streak, and then he beats Tanner Bozer, who, man, Tanner Bozer came in with a lot of steam into the UFC, making a lot of moves, making a lot of noise, and Ilir Latifi just hey kid, no, that's not what's gonna happen, right? Obviously it was a closely contested battle between the two,
Hmm.
but even
Hmm.
still, Ilir Latifi can still get it done, um, at this stage of his career. But
Hmm.
also getting it done in his stage of his career is none other than Alexei Olnick. Olnick has 59 wins, 16 losses, and one draw for the Boa Constrictor. Jesus
Hmm.
Christ. Been in there with Overeem,
Hmm.
Spivak, Chris Daukus, Fabricio Verdum, Maurice Green, Walt Harris, Mark Hunt, Curtis Blaydes, Travis Brown, Daniel Omalunchek, Gerald
Hmm.
Rochat, Anthony
Hmm.
Hamilton, Mikko
Hmm.
Krokop, Jeff
Hmm.
Monson, Tony
Hmm.
Kryptonite Lopez,
Hmm.
another Jesus Christ. Like,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
is a Hall of Famer. Good
Hmm.
God. Alexei fucking Olnick, man. And yes, he's
Hmm.
on a 3-fight losing streak. This could
Hmm.
potentially be his last fight, especially if Ilir Latifi wins, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and that's what I was saying, like when you've got these guys that I mean, Olnick has been in there since fucking 1996. 1996 is the first time he fought MMA, right?
That's when I graduated high school.
That right?
And I'm 1 month older than this Olenek character.
That just imagine,
So
right? And you
he
started at
started
30.
fighting at 18. He started fighting at 18.
Wild, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Again, just treasure him. This walk when he walks out of the cage, fucking UFC and fucking ESPN. Don't go to commercial. Don't whatever.
Mm-mm.
You fucking
Mm-mm.
do the whole run because Olnick, if you don't give him the proper respect that he deserves, so what the fuck is it all for? This is a guy who has been
Yeah.
fighting top level competition since fucking 1996. Yeah,
Mhm.
man. So I'm fuck. Oh man, Olnick, let's go. Um, I love Irla Latifi. The first time I saw him, how big he was, he reminded me a bit of Yoel Romero, right? I mean,
Mhm.
obviously nobody's Yoel Romero, but there was certain tendencies that Ilir Latifi, especially in size, that he would do.
Mhm.
He's so agile for a guy his size, but fucking old man Olnick, man, I would be so happy to see Olnick just fucking darts the fuck out of Ilir Latifi, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, Olenik's gonna take an ass whooping and then retire. It's over for that man. It's over for him. He looks like he's my dad, and I'm older than him. It's over. It's a very simple game plan. Uh, uh, don't get close to him. Stick him with the jabs all day long for 15 minutes. Jab away. Hit him with the cross when he comes too close. Send him back right where he came from. Don't kick him because he'll grab your leg. He's a strong man. He'll grab you and he will never disconnect until he finishes the submission. So the secret to this fight is by moving, jabbing and moving. Power hand when you have to, but keep the jabs going. You'll beat him easy. He doesn't have great movement. He's a very stiff old fella. He's a heavyweight on top of that. Very dangerous, man. It's like a snake, anaconda snake. They don't move very fast, but if they catch you, they're gonna wrap around you and it's over with. That's what Olenek is. He's the boa constrictor. So the name stands as true. So, but Latif is gonna edge him out by unanimous decision.
Okay, I like it. I like it, man. I did all that whole deal for Olnick, and you're like, no, fuck it, you know,
Hey,
legit.
I'm a big fan of the boa constrictor. Big fan. But Latifi, he's got better movement. Latifi's moving up two spaces to 20th position.
Yeah, no, man, and it's wild. So you're saying like, oh, if Latifi jabs and
That's it.
moves,
That's all he
possibly
needs to do.
possibly walking, right? Jab, jab, walk around, and hit him with the movement, right? So
Yep,
essentially,
that's it.
Ilir Latifi's, uh, uh, I guess, road to victory is by becoming a Jabberwockies.
That's right.
Jabberwockies.
That's
See
right.
what I did there? There you go. That's my
If
one
he
point.
wants to win.
If if he wants to win. But yeah, dude, this again, one of the all-time greats, one of the most tenured veterans that there is in all of MMA, specifically in the heavyweight division, Alexei Olmec. So, and you know what? Even if he wins, should he win, and the card has never been so stacked against him, but you would assume that it would be his last fight. It would be like 60 wins, 16 losses, one draw. There you go, and you call it a day. So
Yeah.
there's that. But yeah, so there you go. We're split on that. Voodoo with Latifi, I with Olmec. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
That's the point, right? We're gonna see what happens, right? But thinking of things that'll happen in the flyweight division, the men's flyweight division, we have Kai Kara France, 23-9-0, going against Oscar Oskarov, right?
Mhm.
Man, whoever named these two were just having a fucking syllable fucking breakdown. Kai Kara, Oscar Oskarov. This is right on, right on. Go for it, man. But this is essentially the number 4 flyweight in the world in Oscar. We get against
Mhm.
the number 5 ranked flyweight in the world in Kai Kara France. Like Kai
Mhm.
Kara France, man, he fights all of those international cards, the New Zealands, the Australias, and what have you. Spent a
Mhm.
lot of his UFC tenure overseas, right? But
Mhm.
even prior to the UFC, fought all over, right? Pro, Kenan, Malaysia, uh, Australia, Philippines. That's where Kai Kara France has plied his trade. But and he was on the Ultimate Fighter season 24. right? Now, and I think that was the one. That was one where they had all of the flyweights around the world, all the champions around the world come in, and the winner of the season basically fought Mighty Mouse. So
Right.
that was a cool little attaché that they had for that season.
Mm-hmm.
But he's you know Kaikara's got wins over Howlin Paiva via split decision, a split decision win over Mark De La Rosa, a loss to Brandon Assassin Baby Moreno, right?
Mm-hmm.
But beat Tyson Nam, lost to Brandon Royval, uh, beat Rodrigo Bontorin, beat Cody Garbrandt. That was his last win, and really put Kai Kara France on the map for UFC casuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now on the other side, we have the 14-1, 14-0-1 Bullet Oscar Oskarov, right? And
Mm-hmm.
Oscar um, beat Joey Benavides, beat Alexandre Pantoja, beat Tim Elliott, beat Russell Albaskonov, and that was an ACB. But yeah, he's been especially in the instances of Tim Elliott and Joseph Benavides. We're talking about two of the most like tenured flyweights in history. Joseph Benavides, his flyweight lineage starts way back in WEC, training with Team Alpha Male. So he's just been in there, right? Obviously, Oscar had that draw with Brandon Assassin Baby Moreno, a former
Mm-hmm.
UFC flyweight champion. But my goodness, it's pretty much been a good run for Oscar in the UFC and even outside of the UFC. That's why he has 14 wins, no losses, just one draw, and that draw being Moreno. So I actually have Oscar Oskarov for probably a split decision win.
Mm. So I remember Kai Car France not too long ago. He knocked out Cody Garbrandt, and he's talking. I went to this shit. It's shut. This and that. It's shut. And the UFC is like, oh yeah, you think you're ready for a title shot? Take a little bit of that. Askarov. Your title shot's going right down the drain, Kai Car France. And here's why. They have one person in common, and that's Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno smashed Kai Car France. Smashed them to bits. How did he beat him? He beat him by unanimous decision, meaning he controlled him on the ground pretty much. He, I don't see him striking with him. I see him engaging, locking him up, dragging him into the deep waters, and drowning him. That's what I see there, and that's what's going to happen. Askarov, this is what he does. He'll strike with you. He'll strike with you, but he doesn't want to get knocked out. And he's a master grappler. So I will use my best weapon against your best weapon, which is striking. My submission abilities versus your knockout power, I guess. And the wrestler will win this one. Not only is he going to win him, he's going to submit him in the second round. He's going to shut him down, if not the first. Kai Car France, back to the end of the line.
As they say, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. You wanted the
Just
title
might
shot,
get.
and yeah, man, they threw you to the wolves, man. They threw you to the wolves. I one would argue that the UFC brass were doing Kaikar and Francis solid, especially one of their biggest earners is one Israel Adesanya, right? And obviously Kaikara and Adesanya are teammates and what have you, but you poke the bear. You've
Mm,
awakened a sleeping giant, and they've answered
that's right.
in kind and put you against this fucking tough ass fucking Russian fucking Federation wrestler. So good luck, Kaikar. You're gonna need it.
Mm,
You're gonna need all of it. But I too am going with Oscar Oskarov, second round submission, 100%.
not
Uh,
mad at it.
yeah. So we are speaking of like most tenured fighters and what have you, but we have the immortal one, Matt Brown, 23, 8, and 18, right? For Matt
Hmm.
Brown. and he just won in a big way, right? You didn't think that Matt Brown could win anymore, but he KOs the shit out of Diego Lima, right? Prior to that, lost a unanimous decision to a returning Carlos Condit, and
Mhm.
then also gets KO'd by Miguel Baeza, right? But before
Mhm.
that, a KO win over his buddy Ben Saunders, his former Muscle Farm stablemate in Ben Saunders, and then KOs Diego Sanchez, which that's what you need to do in this day and age, or at least in 2017, right? And then loses three before Diego Sanchez loses three to Donald Cerrone, Jake Ellenberger, and Damian Maya, respectively, and gets finished each way, right? Head kick KO by Cerrone, uh, body kick and punches with Ellenberger, and a rear naked choke administered to him by Damian Maya, right? And then a
Mhm.
win against Tim Means. But this dude has just been here. I mean, been there with Seth Brzezinski. People forget about Seth. Chris Cope, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Mike Quick Zick, fucking Jordan Main, Mike Pyle, Eric Silva, man. Like this dude, Jesus Christ. He's shout out to Matt Brown, man. Everything that I said about fucking Olnick can pretty much apply here to the Immortal one. Just
Mhm.
amazing. Him and what's his name? Who's the one that A10 that fucking wrapped up Roosevelt Roberts? Why am I fucking forgetting his name? Jesus Christ. You know who I'm talking about, right?
A10.
Yeah. Roosevelt Robert. Yeah. It's A10 or I'm gonna get his name for him. Not Kevin Kroom. I mean, literally, he's been Jim Miller. There you go.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, Matt Brown and Jim Miller. Those two motherfuckers are just they're
Tenured.
tenured, figuring out a way to win. Been fighting for damn 20 years,
Mhm.
just in the UFC, right? They're not even talking about the WEC or anything like that. Like, just shout out to Matt Brown. Um, I almost feel like he's going to. Well, before that, let's get to his dancing partner for the night, Bam Bam Brian Barberena, right? 16-8. Uh, just what a unanimous decision against Darian Weeks, but then lost to the Vanilla Gorilla Jason Witt via majority decision, right? Wins a unanimous decision over Anthony Ivy. He's got a win over Jake Ellenberger, but between the Ivy and Ellenberger fights, he gets basically finished by Vicente Luque and Randy Brand, respectively. Loses a unanimous decision to Leon Edwards, loses a unanimous decision to Colby Covington, beats Wally Alvarez, and then arm triangle chokes Sage Northcutt. Man, dude, Barbarena has been in there too. But
Mhm.
what to me, right? He lost a majority decision to Jason Witt, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Jason Witt, yes, he doesn't have the mileage that Matt Brown has, but also he doesn't have the veteran savvy that Matt Brown does.
Mhm.
So I think Matt Brown, we might get a unanimous decision from him, but Matt Brown is going to take a lot of fucking damage in route. It might even be a split decision, but that's what I'm going for. Matt Brown split decision win.
Mm. Matt Brown, he was a savage. I believe he was an Ultimate Fighter winner, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Savage, savage, savage. Been in the UFC for a long time. He's been in there with the very best of them. He's banged it out with the very best of them. Barbarino, he's been around for some time too. Um, he also started his career at 2000 in 2009. King of the Cage, King of the Cage, Dakota FC, and then UFC in 2014. And pretty much he's been around since. He's lost some, won some. This is going to be a tough fight. I believe the pressure is going to be on Matt Brown because he's the more famous of the two. It's going to be a tough matchup. I'll go for a fighter of the night candidate right here. I'll go for fighter of the night candidate, and split decision win is going to be the result of this. Both men will bleed. There will be blood. There will be blood, or there will be instant knockout. Who? I don't know. You want to flip a coin here?
Yeah, so I got Brown. You're gonna go with Barbarena, yeah?
Sure. Let's do that.
All right, I like it. I
Hmm.
like it, man. But I agree with you. This could be a $50,000 earner for both gentlemen.
Hmm.
They're not one to give an inch at all.
Exactly.
So, fuck, man. This is some CTE is gonna happen in this fucking fight, man. So hopefully they get
Mm.
a $50,000 bonus to kind of sweeten the pot, right? But s- I don't want to go with. Speaking of sweet pots, because of there's two females here, but we definitely have the co-main events of the evening, where we have none other than Joanne JoJo Wood, formerly Joanne Calderwood, right?
Hmm.
Again, and that the Scottish lass is 15-7, right?
Hmm.
And JoJo, Ultimate Fighter and Luminist, right? Um, she is actually on a two-fight losing streak. The last fight she had in the octagon was a losing effort to Talia Santos, where Talia Santos actually finishes her in the very first round via rear naked choke. Then she is basically loses a split decision to none other than I mean, she is actually a title contender in Lauren Murphy, right? And
Hmm.
also an Ultimate Fighter alumnus, right? Beats Jessica I via unanimous
Evil
decision.
eye.
Yeah, loses to Jennifer Maya via armbar. Beats Andrea KGB Lee via split decision. Loses to
Hmm.
blonde fighter Caitlin Chakugian
Hmm.
via unanimous decision. Beats Ariane Lipsky unanimous decision. Yeah, man, she's just been all over the place. As Joanne Wood, man, Valerie Letourneau's in here, Jessica Andrade is in here, Cynthia Calvillo's in here, Courtney Casey's in here, Mara Morose, Sohee Ham, which is one of my favorites, and she's tearing it up over there in one championship. Um, she lost to the eventual winner, Rose Namajunas, right? Yeah, that was back in the Ultimate Fighter season 20. Um,
Hmm.
Emily Kagan, and just been everywhere. Invicta veteran, Cage Warriors veteran. Man, much respect to JoJo, right? Now, on the other side of the docket, we have none other than a rising 13-3 Mexico's own Alexa Grasso. Now, Grasso um, is actually on a two-fight winning streak versus her
Hmm.
opponent of the night who's on a two-fight losing streak. Uh, that those two wins are via Macy Barber, who's a former UFC Ultimate Fighter winner.
Big win.
Yep, big winner. I mean, that was actually the fight that we went to Vegas for, and then coming back, Blake Troop and I got in the crash. That
Hmm.
was the one that I was thinking of. Yeah, so
Mm.
that was Macy Barber's win, and I remember being at Palms Casino, and as soon as she comes out of the arena, just the her family, she literally had like 200 family members, and they just swarmed around her like regular bees to the queen bee, like it just
Mm.
engulfed her. Right, it was a beautiful moment. Glad to have been on the other side at the hotel bar, having an adult beverage or six, watching it all go down. So that was a cool deal. But yes, Alexa Grasso beat Macy Barber. Jin Yon Kim beat via unanimous decision. Was in there with the former champion and Carlo Esparza talking about, uh, getting a test. You don't get any tougher than Carlo Esparza when it comes to um, women's fighters. My gosh,
Hmm.
just fighters in general. Carla is not just one of the best female fighters of all time, but just one of the best of all time. Just male, female, doesn't matter, right? Alexa Grasso also has a win over Carolina Kovalchevich, lost to Tatiana Suarez, uh, beat Ronda Marcos, but lost to Felice Herring, beat Heather Joe Clark, and then way back in Invicta 18, beat Jody Escobar. Man, and you've got Ashley Cummings, Alita Gray, uh, Curi- Karina Rodriguez, Lupita Hernandez. Like, there's some cool wins in Alexa Grasso's career, right? Hailing out
Mhm.
of Guadalajara's own Lobo MMA, and she, much like her, I guess, northern counterparts at Intram MMA, right? That boasts obviously Brandon Moreno and a litany of others. She keeps
Mhm.
it within her home country, within her home state,
Mhm.
doesn't venture
Mhm.
out, feels that she can do it right here. Almost like a
Mhm.
Bryce Mitchell before it was cool, right? Like,
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
going to do it here and I'm going to do it here, my home soil, and become a champion. So much respect to Alexa Grasso, man. I actually think this is Grasso's fight to win. I think the
Yes,
UFC sees a lot in Alexa Grasso, especially after the wins of
Macy.
not just Macy, but also, look at how much Brandon Moreno opened up the Mexican market, right,
Mhm.
for the
Mhm.
UFC, which has historically for the UFC has been trying to get into Mexico for like 15 years, right?
Mhm.
That's why they had the title fight with Kane and Fabricio in Mexico City, whatever. And I think
Mhm.
with these lighter weight fighters, it's opening up. And it's not just like inside of Mexico, but like even into different parts of South America. You're seeing elite gyms open up.
Mhm.
You're hearing, the patronage, of the Latin American fan base, kind of at a
Mhm.
feverish pitch, especially in Mexico, where you boasted a UFC flyweight men's champion in
Mhm.
Moreno, right?
Mhm.
There's another one at Entram, Marina's teammate. Um, God, I forgot her name, but Jasmine something or other. She fights in Combate right now. She is making waves, and doing everything right. Where she's doing commentary. She's got her social media, deal dialed in. Like there's some big things happening for Mexican MMA. And I think Alexa Grasso is definitely one of the cornerstones in it. So I've got Alexa Grasso. It's probably going to be a unanimous decision, but this, and I hate that this might be the end of JoJo Calderwood's tenure in the UFC, especially where she is right now in her life. Obviously, we first knew her as Joanne JoJo Calderwood, um, and now she's Joanne Wood marrying her coach John Wood. Um,
Mhm.
in Vegas. So she's in a great place. She's got her family down. She's a mother. She's a fighter, and what have you. So I hate that this is going to befall her in arguably the greatest time of her life, personally. But Alexa Grasso, unanimous decision. But JoJo's going to
I'm
get
not.
there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful match. It could be, fight of the night. But Alexa Grasso, man, she's got it dialed in. She keeps getting better and better every time we see her. She gets better and better. When she earlier in 2016s and the 17s and the 18s, her grappling was not that, even into the 19s, 2019, her grappling was suspect. But within the last 2 3 years, man, she's really dialed it in, and that takedown defense is on point now. Even on the ground, she's on point. She's able to stay calm, remain calm, and work. Uh, she's something special with those hands. Those hands, I love those hands. She's great. She's beautiful. She's marketable. She speaks English. She speaks Spanish and English. Spanish is definitely stronger than English, but uh, the English that she speaks is tolerable. We can understand what she's saying without any doubt as to what she said. So she's got the Trinity, man. She can fight. She's great on the mic. She has a bonus of looking real beautiful. And on top of that, her social media keeps climbing, man. When we go to Mexico, understand she's going to be on the main card.
No, agreed, agreed. Grasso is one to watch, and I don't think I really don't think that UFC has given her favorable fights because she's had some tough fights in
Tough.
the UFC,
Hmm.
so there's not that. I just hate that it has to come at the expense of Joe Calderwood, but Dana
Yeah.
White says, "Hey, you know what? This is an opportunity, not a business, and look no
Yeah.
further than this right here." So
That's right.
hopefully we're wrong, but still the everything's shining brighter for Grasso. Even if Joanne Calderwood um, wins somehow, some way, right?
Hmm.
There's still money in Alexa Grasso, going forward versus Joanne Calderwood. So, yeah, I got Grasso as well. So there we go. I guess we're at the main events of the evening. We have none other than Chris Daukus, uh, who's 12-4. I thought he had a nickname, but he doesn't. 12-4 for Daukus. Um, just lost to Derek Black Beast Lewis
Hmm.
via right KO, right? But beat Shamil Abdurakhmanov, right? The on the undercard of Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega. Beat Alexei Olnik. I mean KO's Olnik. Rodrigo Nancimiento. Uh,
Hmm.
finishes him in 45 seconds in the very first round. Parker Porter fucking fucked him up too. Uh, KOs him, punches and knees. First round on the undercard of Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier 3. Also been in there at CFFC, Cage Fury Fighting Championships. That was back in 2019, where he beats Danny Holmes via first round KO, 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 KO. Just there you go. Just KO. He just fucking KOs. Um, on the other hand, we have none other than Curtis Razor Blaydes, 15-3, really respectable record for Curtis Blaydes. Trains at Elevation Fight Team. He's got some big wins in his arsenal. Well, not arsenal, but in his index, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, he lost very early on to Francis Ngannou before he becomes champion, but rebounds by KOing Cody East. Then he has a no contest with Adam Milstead, right? And
Hmm.
then beats Daniel Omalanchuk, right? Via unanimous decision. Uh, had to get a doctor in there to save Alexei Olnik. Doctor stoppage for the second round, right?
Hmm.
Unanimous decision victory over Mark Hunt. KO's Alistair Overeem. Has another loss to Ngannou back in 2018, right?
Hmm.
Beat Junior Dos Santos, beat Alexander Volkov. Man, he's just been in there, man. And
Yeah.
his most recent win against Georgina Rosenstruck, right?
Hmm.
Uh, I really want Curtis Blades to get knocked the fuck out. Honestly.
Nah.
Um, I've got problems with Mr. Razor Blades. And Shane Husky says, "What's up, fellas? What up, Shane? Good to
What's up,
have you.
Shane?
Yeah, part of the BodySlam.net family. It can be
That's
found
right.
every week, multiple times a week on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling podcast, as well as his own Twitch channel, which is in all of his bios on all of his social media. So go ahead and give Shane a follow. That's a good brother. Too sweet, me, bro. I'm just saying. But no, who's not a bro, who I'm not going to too sweet, is Curtis Razor Blades. I hate the shit that he
Hmm.
does with his hair.
Hmm.
I I hate this fucking
Hmm.
beard and jawline and teeth ratio. It fucks me up, right? And then his so that's just they say don't judge a book by its cover. Okay,
Right.
got to, right? So I'm gonna disregard all that, right? But the shit he says, the shit that he gets mad about. Uh, I'm I'm a fucking top tier fighter. When fucking Brock Lesnar comes in and pushes Daniel Cormier, right? That creates a fucking buzz that'll eventually sell tickets. It doesn't matter what happens after they're in the arena, sitting in their seat. You just need to fucking be like the Pied Piper and bring their ass into the arena, bring their ass to a fucking pub to watch a pay-per-view, bring their ass to bring and feel compelled enough to buy a pay-per-view with your fucking ass on it so you can get paid. Your family can get paid. Curtis Blaydes doesn't get it. Curtis Blaydes doesn't get it at all. Right? He just fucking doesn't get it. To the extent where, I mean, a lot of people talk about Tony Khan shitting on Big Swole, who's a
Right,
female African American wrestler and whatever.
right,
And
right.
it was all amicable and everything like that until Big Swole gets on the fucking podcast and talks shit about Tony Khan and there's no diversity in AEW. So Tony Khan was like, I fired your ass because you're not good. Right? Right? And
Right.
everybody in wrestling is like, ooh. Well, fucking Dana did that shit first to fucking Curtis Razor Blaydes, right? It's like
Right.
Curtis Razor Blaydes goes, oh, well, why the fuck does Brock Lesnar get to fucking go in the fucking cage? Because Brock Lesnar does whatever the fuck he wants to do.
Because he's Brock Lesnar, homie.
Yeah. To paraphrase the great Paul Heyman, he does whatever the fuck he wants to do. You gonna tell Brock Lesnar what to do? Good fucking luck, right? And it prompted Dana White to respond to Blaydes and anybody that might have that Blaydes mentality and go, cool. We're in the fucking entertainment business. We need to fucking sell tickets, right? So you can be a straight martial artist all you want to, and you'll be teaching judo to fucking kids in a fucking end of the strip mall in fucking Colorado. But I'm here to fucking sell tickets. I'm here to make money. Unless you're doing that, get the fuck out of there. And that was the precursor to this is not a job. This is not a career. It's an opportunity, right? He's talking to you, Curtis Blaydes, you know?
Yeah.
And thank you. To seat back at you. This is the best place to get all MMA and UFC. Mari Yamasaki, Shane. Mari Yamasaki. But no, I mean, this is fuck, man. Like, let's just be done. I'm done with Curtis Blaydes. I really am done. I'm
Hey,
done with him.
man.
I'm not to say that he's not skilled, but I'm just saying I'm done. I'm done. I want Barbarena to fucking KO Blaydes in that, like, pick a spot in that weird ass manicured, glistening fucking. How the fuck can you put shit in your head that looks like a damn dragon on the dang parades, the Chinese fucking New Year parades in your head look like a fucking, what is that, prehistoric dinosaur, the missing link also. He looks like the middle person in the evolutionary chart, Curtis Blaydes does, right? And then also have your beard glistening, like glistening. Not your hair, just your fucking beard. That shit looks crispy as fuck. Like it's a miss for me, man. But I want Bam Bam to find that fucking chin of Curtis Blaydes that's beyond his manicured, manscaped fucking beard. Yeah, and Barbarena just fucking finding that knuckle right there and connecting it right there, pushing through all of that fucking brush that is Curtis Blaydes' fucking goatee or fucking formation of hair under his lip, and he go night, go dead dick in the dirt. That's what I want to happen. Probably not gonna happen because Curtis Blaydes got world class judo. He's a world class judoka. I'm not discounting all of the accolades of Curtis Blaydes. It's going to be a tough fight. But if you're asking me what I want Curtis Blaydes to get knocked the fuck out.
Hey, Curtis Blade is a special needs character, and you know I'm a special needs educator. So I'm bound to Curtis Blade by profession. The fact that he beat special ed classes to make it this far, I gotta I gotta go for him. So I'll flip you a coin on this one, man.
Okay.
50-50, man. You got Daukus, I got Curtis Blade.
Yeah.
And if it's an early knockout, Blaydes went to sleep. But if it's 25 minutes, Blaydes won that match.
Oh yeah, 100%. And he wins that match, but fucking KOs the consciousness of everybody in that fucking arena in Columbus, Ohio. My God. And Shane Hussey says everyone that has beards right now is highly offended. No, not Shane. Do me a favor, good brother. Go ahead and put it in the Google machine, Curtis Blaydes, and you'll see this fucking shit. How the fuck can you be nappy as fuck and whatever, but your fucking chin looks like you hit it with the fucking Jericho activator? What the fuck is that, dude? I don't know, man. I don't understand it. No, and I totally get the special needs. Like that like kudos to him for that. I mean, honestly, since we're calling shit on the carpet, I mean, I remember being at Crozier Middle School, right?
Right,
I
right.
remember at Crozier Middle School, and we had a damn assembly, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was that era of Lakers, right? It was Eldon Campbell, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel. This is the first season of Kobe before he
Scottie
ran
Pippen.
everybody out.
No,
No,
not Scottie Pippen. Byron Scott. Byron Scott.
Was Byron? I know Vladdy was there. I know Travis Knight was there. You remember that it was
Byron Scott was before them.
Yeah, no. But I'm talking. So we had an assembly. The Lakers. This is after fucking Del Harris fucked up, and then Kurt Rambis was the coach, right? So Rambis was there. We had a pep rally. It was Rambis. It was Eldon Campbell, Kobe, Nick Van Exel, and it was like the first season of Kobe and Shaq before, before Kobe was able to, talk to Jerry Buss and
get Kurt Shaq Rambis out of there.
Well, no. He basically sub Rambis for Phil Jackson. That was that year. That was or going into that year, right? Because I still have it might have been in storage, but I have an autograph fucking picture, an 8x10 of all that Lakers that year. It was like that was a championship team if Kobe could get it together. But it's also one of the reasons why I hate to speak ill of the dead. I've only had one interaction with Kobe Bryant, and it was on that day. Wasn't great. And on to build it up, it was Eldon Campbell. Eldon Campbell, number 41, talking about how he had overcome learning disabilities to become a superstar. Well, in his words, right? A superstar in NBA, right? And it was claps and people were crying. Special ed teachers were crying. Regular teachers were crying. Cholos were crying. Gangsters were crying. They Highness was crying. It was beautiful, right? And then here comes Kobe Bryant, and you got to remember, we're in middle school. He had just graduated high school, right?
18 years old,
right? And he this is our hero because any dude that was fucking playing ball at Crozier Middle School, it was like, this is what we can get. We could be Kobe, right? And he gets up there after this. Oh, and then so Eldon Campbell does a speech. There's this log in front of us, like this barrier with a net. We're like, what the fuck is that? Like, whatever. And they announced Shaq, and Shaq can't be found. And all of a sudden, that barrier moves, and it's fucking Shaq. Shaq had laid whatever the whole damn time, and whatever. And just an enigma. I'm a Shaq guy, right? So this rousing speech with fucking Eldon Campbell, how he, overcomes adversity, mental and physical, to become who he became, right? Then Shaq, right? Just amazing, right? And then Kobe Bryant gets to the pedestal, and they turn the lights out. They give him the whole thing. They did as much of a strobe as you can get, flickering the lights on and off and everything like that. From Lower Merion High School, give him the whole fucking treatment. This dude came out in a baby fat, light powder blue velour suit. Remember velour? That fucking furry ass material?
Yeah.
Gets to the fucking podium, doesn't even get off of his two-way pager. Remember those? Right?
Yeah.
The touching, and it's just like, stay in school, what he said, and points to Eldon, and he walks the fuck off. Okay.
Hey. In all fairness, he was just a child.
This is true, but I'm just there's that. So I do have, and especially with my two oldest kids, they bipolar, manic depressive,
Mhm.
so I'm totally there in terms of my youngest is in has learning disabilities himself. I more likely than not had a learning disability or still do. I'm an idiot savant. All the shit that everybody likes,
Mhm.
I fucking don't get. Ask me about a Marvel movie of fucking Harry Potter, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on? But when you talk about wrestling, MMA, and fucking music, somehow I come alive, right? So there's that. So I totally get it. But fucking Blades doesn't get it. And I just want somebody to knock the sense out of him.
Not
Not
that
out of
haircut off his head.
fuck yes, at the very least. So I'm just saying. Let's do Barbarina fucking, and he brings out Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and Brutus the Beefcake, brother Brudi just gets one payday in the UFC, baby, and just fucking cuts that shit off. I would love it. But yeah, so you got Blades, I got Barbarina.
Okay.
I really hope that I come back like ha 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 ha.
His hair is knocked off.
Yeah, his head is knocked
Yeah.
off. Somebody found the fucking chin beyond the damn Jerry curled fucking beard, fucking crispy ass beard. It's just weird to me. And I've been consistent. You could even go back to weighing in fights and films back in the day. That was when Curtis Blaydes does his debut.
Yeah.
Jennifer Penfield and her cousin. Jesus, why am I blanking on his name? But anyway, um, as soon as I saw him, and this is back in like 2016,
Yeah.
2017, I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? I go on a 3 minute rant on fucking Curtis Blades. I've been consistent on my fucking critique, and Curtis Blades has given me reason like he gives me more reasons
Every
not,
fight.
yeah, not to like him. Um, he might be a great person. He might be a great family man or whatever. But me, I can't pay to see this motherfucker. Is he on the level of Colby Covington, Dustin Poirier, and Jorge Masvidal? No, because those three, you couldn't pay me to pay to watch any of those motherfuckers fight. Not happening, right? Curtis Blades at least has go away heat, where I've spent enough time on him that I cut a fucking decent promo, so I
Yeah.
I can go boo boo, which is different than the go the fuck away heat that Masvidal, Poirier, and Covington have with me. So at least I still give a shit to talk shit about Curtis Blades. Those other three, they can get a whole fuck off. So there you go. Uh, Voodoo, where can they find you on social media, my man?
Oh man, I'm over there on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook page, Twitter, and Snapchat. Yeah, look me up. Like, share, and subscribe on the platforms, and let's get this going.
Absolutely. And I am According to Woods. You can find me at According to Woods on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch is where you can get the principal podcast. Also, I'm over on After 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff, Christy Olson, Steve Kaufman, and George Hermosa. Those three are great. I just try to hold water. Um, four of them, right? Kaufman, Bischoff. Well, I can't count. I can't count. Good God. It's too late in the night. But I could be found on that channel. I might be doing stuff with Wrestling Perspective, which you definitely want to check out.
Sounds
That
good.
is Dennis Dennis Farrell and the great Lars Fredrickson from Rancid. They have a pro wrestling podcast, and I might be working with them. Yeah, I'm working with them. So that's cool. So go ahead and follow, and subscribe to the Wrestling Perspective on all of the social medias. There you go. And also bodyslam.net, where you can find Shane, where you can find me, where you can find Voodoo, where you can find the franchise player, Blad Blood, and a litany of other podcasts
Yeah.
to suit your fancy in terms of the world of MMA and pro wrestling. We got you covered. Shout out to Cassidy Haynes and the rest of the bodyslam.net crew. You can find this podcast and a lot of other podcasts there on bodyslam.net. So definitely
That's
go ahead
right.
and give them a follow. And we will see you Sunday, perceivably at 4, where we wrap this shit up, and hopefully I get to fucking dance on the fucking remnants of beard of Curtis Blaydes.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's right.
hell yeah. You guys be amazing. You guys are amazing. Thank you for sticking with us. And we will see you later with more Voodoo in the Woods. It didn't play.